The decline of the US dollar burning into non-existence is setting the stage for Bitcoin to soar to not only all-time highs and beyond, but much, much higher. Welcome back to the Blockhash Podcast channel. Let's talk about crypto. Make sure to check out our sponsor, BENFT, and how they're revolutionizing education using DeFi and artificial intelligence. They're fantastic. Please go check them out. All links are in the description below. Also, check out our Patreon. We do chart analysis Monday through Friday. It is the price of a couple of cups of coffee, and you get all the chart analysis before it goes on YouTube. So check that out. Links down below. All right, let's talk. So over the past few months, a lot of interesting trends have been observed on the DXY, the dollar index, and Bitcoin charts. So primarily both assets have been trading within a horizontal range while Bitcoin stepped into it a bit more by mid of last year itself. The dollar index caught up a few weeks later. So in Q1, the DXY was seen trading around the ceiling of the setup. Bitcoin had been hovering around lows. Charts are down below. We'll blow those up in a second. Whenever Bitcoin traded around the roof in the April-May period, the DXY ended up creating lows. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, you can see that there's correlations here between the dollar collapsing and Bitcoin breaking out. The two are inversely related, not 100%, but for the most part. You know, what's bad for the dollar is good for Bitcoin. What's good for the dollar is bad for Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation. It was designed to be a hedge against the dollar and against fiat in the financial system. So when you see the banks collapsing, when you see the DXY falling apart, you see Bitcoin really thriving. This is where Bitcoin does its best. So before jumping to conclusions, says Watcher Guru, it is essential to keep in mind the current market conditions and sentiment. Over the past few weeks, the market has seen several bullish catalysts, including the Bitcoin ETF filing spree, BlackRock, Fidelity, Van Eck, Wisdom Tree, you name it. The Ripple case verdict, XRP is now a security. Several records have created initially because of the rallies that unfolded. However, most of the excitement seems to have fizzled out temporarily. I think this is the calm before the storm. Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio, SSR, recently created a 2023 high, but right after a pullback was observed. Such conditions are usually looked forward to during periods of recovery. The SSR basically compares the coin's market cap against the aggregate market cap of all stablecoins. Usually, low SSR values are deemed to be healthy, where they indicate a high stablecoin supply. Thus, it can be contended that the current downward deviation is typically setting the stage for the buying pressure to re-sprout, making way for potential price breakthrough. So that's their take on Bitcoin. Let's take our take on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and jump around. That's XRP. Look at that. Whew. Bitcoin is looking not too shabby. I like where Bitcoin's at. We've been looking at this for quite a while now. We can go all the way back to late March when we had that pop in Bitcoin. We came down, retested 20,000, then solidified it, came up to 28.5. Highest point was 30,000. Then we've sat below that for a while, in which I drew this purple box. This purple box seemed to be a range that we were in, just relatively, that we could not seem to break out of, with an inflection zone where it seemed we should have support. Now, my inflection zone is where I draw an area of previous ceilings that should become previous floors. All right, and this is exactly what happened for Bitcoin. It came down and tapped a few times, really came down to the zone, and then exploded upwards, solidifying around 30,000. Now, Bitcoin is held very, very well above this 30,000 mark. We're still in this long-term funnel, which is also great since the beginning of the year. And we have plenty of upside if Bitcoin wants to move to the higher range of the 30,000s. It could come down as low as 26,000, worst case. But I don't think we're in a scenario where Bitcoin is going to collapse. I think we've been in quite a consolidation period between late March and mid-June. So April, May, most of June, 2.5 months of this, and then we moved. All right. So since late June to now getting into mid-July, Bitcoin is holding 30. Usually that's a good sign, like unless there's some horrible catalyst, which I don't see coming. In fact, there's been a lot of positive catalysts. Bitcoin should find its way up. It's tried a couple times to pop to 32,000. That seems to be the mark to beat. It's gotten over 31,000 a couple times, but it hasn't held it. So I'm less concerned about holding 31 and more about breaking 32. On the Bollinger Band, things are just really, really tight. All right, even if we zoomed in on this, still really tight. On the daily, Bitcoin has not made a decision, what it's doing. I think it's just hanging out there, and eventually it'll make its break. Oop, no, let's not move that. Another thing I want to take a quick look at are the moving averages. Bitcoin's sitting squarely on the 20-day moving average, well above the 50, the 100, and the 200, which is very healthy. We could come down and retest any of these levels. I just don't see why we'd break below 30,000. We've been so strong above it for almost a month now. That's going to translate into some upside pretty soon. All right, and with the success we've had with XRP now being above 70 cents, massive explosion after beating the SEC. XLM following suit as well, sitting just above 12.5 and just under 13 cents. And the rest of the altcoin market just being very steady, very quiet, very steady. We saw a move in Cardano as well, back up to 30 cents. Ethereum popped up to 2,000, sitting at 1,900 just below it. It's in a really good position. The whole market is. And at some point here, we're going to get that pop. And I think a big key to that is the dollar index, the DXY. So we're going to keep a close eye on those things. And yeah, it's going to be a very exciting summer, guys, and very exciting early fall. So be sure to like the video. Comment your thoughts down below on where we're at with Bitcoin, where we're at with the dollar index. From the technical side, love to hear from you guys. Make sure to also, share it with someone that is interested in Bitcoin and crypto. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. You guys are the best, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.